I usually don't like long introductions, but in this case, if any of you want to be a president, pay attention. Here's the instruction sheet, right? Here's what he's achieved in his life, and he'll fill you in. He's got way more to achieve. His Excellency President John Mahama was the fourth president of the Fourth Republic of Ghana. He was popularly elected for a 4-year term, 2013 to 2017. Elected on December 7 of 12. Born 63 years ago, Christian father and a Muslim mother in Damongo, a rural community in the Savannah, formerly northern region of Ghana, John Mahama at an early age came to appreciate personally the beauty and strength in diversity. John Dramani Mahama made history by being the first president of Ghana to serve in all levels of political office. Got that one? Member of Parliament for the Bamboy constituency, Deputy Minister for Communication, Vice President, and eventually President of the Republic of Ghana. Vice President, President, local, everything. Indeed, John Mahama considers the combination of the study of history, make some noise, history majors, communications, and social psychology courses he studied for his first and postgraduate degree at the university, as having had a profound impact on shaping his views, thoughts, and understanding of the human condition, and contributed greatly to the making of the person he is today. Ghana, under President Mahama, witnessed a massive infrastructure development drive in all sectors of the economy, including education, health, ports and harbors, aviation, rail, oil, and gas. His vision and strategic investments in these areas have today solidly positioned the country for its next phase of development as a lower middle income country. Apart from his love of reading and acquiring knowledge, President Mahama has also taken a keen interest in technology, computer science, IT, and being a farmer in agriculture. Very good. President Mahama had intimate knowledge of and love for agriculture from a young age when his father was a prominent rice farmer, teacher, and minister in the government of Ghana's first president. He is particularly interested in finding the most effective ways to improve agricultural productivity and works to encourage more young people to see farming as a viable business and not just a subsistence activity. President Mahama is married to Mrs. Lordina Mahama. President Mahama is a man of many talents and accomplishments. He is a Christian who committed himself to fulfilling the vision of transforming the lives of Ghanaians by focusing on jobs, stability, and infrastructural development. When Jesus says to work for the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven, President Mahama has done that with his life. His country is doing well. Other countries are just at the beginning. South Sudan, we have friends coming. We have a student in the business school, Susan, who will share her testimony, still makes $750 a year per person. Got that one? So when Jesus said to take care of the poor, I think that's who he has in mind. And so I want to introduce you now, give a very, very warm, loud welcome to our very special guest, His Excellency, President John Mahama from Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I arrived in the States on Monday evening, and it had been gray, overcast in New York, and also when we came into Washington. And I was joking with those who met me that I had brought a small package that had a sliver of sunlight from Africa, and so I'm happy that today we have such a bright, beautiful day with the sun smiling on us. let me break the ice with a joke so that it gets the butterflies out of my stomach, seeing such a huge crowd. There was this guy who was supposed to give a speech. It was supposed to be a big speech for him. And so he took his time preparing, and he prepared a whole thesis. And so the day came, and he was invited to the podium, and he started to speak. The speech was so long that people started to walk out. And by the time he finished the speech, there was just one person left in the auditorium. I hope that's not going to happen to me today. And so he walked up to the single person left and thanked him for staying and listening to his whole speech. And he said, by the way, I want to ask you, why did you stay the whole time to listen to my speech? He said, yeah, because I'm supposed to speak after you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope my speech is not going to be that kind of speech. It's short and crisp. Ladies and gentlemen, I must at the onset thank you for the warm welcome that has been extended to me and my delegation since we arrived here yesterday. The story of your journey as a world-class Christian-centered institution of learning has been as much of resilience as it has been of inspiration. Liberty University is an institution founded on discipline, industry, and the love of God. I'm most delighted to be here and to have the opportunity to address you all, particularly the young, budding intellectuals in this auditorium. Liberty, being one of the world's largest Christian institutions of higher learning, makes me feel right at home. As a student of communications and history, I often find it irresistible whenever the opportunity affords itself to share with my audience stories from the African continent and my own perspectives about life, especially when as a diverse global population, we have so much in common. Not many people know this, but at a point in my life, I was preparing myself for life as an academic, where daily interactions with students like yourselves would have been the norm, when I received the call to serve my country in a much higher position of leadership. And yes, like Robert Frost, a man who had some of his works published here in Virginia, as he observes in his poem, The Road Not Taken, there are times when we all would wonder about that other road we could have taken and whether it would have been more fulfilling than what we took. But as followers of Christ, we can never doubt that the road we have taken in respect of our faith is the right one. And that is why as Christians, even 2,000 years after the resurrection of Christ, we have a responsibility under the Great Commission proclaimed in Matthew 28:16-20 to spread the gospel and win souls for Christ and save mankind from damnation on the day of judgment. We have a duty to let our light shine across the world. According to the status of Global Community 2021 report by the Center for Study of Global Christianity, over 2.5 billion people out of a total population of over 7 billion people, representing about 32%, are Christians in this world. This makes up about a third of the world's population. Christianity is also the dominant faith in my country, Ghana, with Christians making up almost 2/3 of the population. Other faiths such as Islam and African traditional religion are significantly present in my country. This fact notwithstanding, Ghana is one of a few countries in the world where there is almost utmost peaceful religious coexistence amongst all religious faiths. Working as a president who happens to be a Christian, I recognize that I presided over a country of mixed faith, mixed cultures and ethnicity, with multiple indigenous languages. It was therefore a constitutional injunction on me to promote harmony and peace amongst the diverse people that make up our nation. In Ghana, it's not uncommon to find Muslims join their Christian neighbors in church to commemorate an event, and Christians vice versa, joining their Muslim colleagues to mark various ceremonies. I must hasten to add that our situation is not entirely reflective of what pertains on the African continent or our sub-region. Ghana is an island of religious calmness in a sea of turbulence, as almost all our surrounding neighbors have in recent times experienced some major form of insurgency, coup d'etats, or other conflicts, including religious conflicts. To the north of Ghana, we have Burkina Faso and Mali, and there still remains an ever-present threat from religious fundamentalists operating in the Sahel and recruiting young Africans to join their terrorist networks. You probably would have heard about Boko Haram, which is a terrorist group that operates mainly in Nigeria and around the Lake Chad region. This terrorist group gained world infamy when they abducted over 200 girls from a secondary school in a town called Chibok. Many of these groups lay claim to a puritanical concept of Islamic jihad, but the fact that they are indiscriminate in who they attack, including killing their own fellow Muslims, gives us an indication of the extent of their perversion. There are also ISIS and bandits operating in the Sahelian region. In all these acts, one thing is clear. Leadership at all levels, including the family, the school, the church, the government, all have the responsibility to educate and inform the impressionable young members of our society about the imminent threats and dangers out there. Governments owe it as a responsibility to do all they can to secure the peace and safety of the nation, but above all, to reduce youth unemployment. This is necessary to ensure that the young people do not become easily recruitable to fill the ranks of the insurgents due to frustration and lack of opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end, I will tell you another joke. And this is the joke about the donkey on which Jesus rode triumphantly into Jerusalem. As they were riding into Jerusalem, they were received with cloths being laid on the ground, cheers, trumpets sounding. And so when the donkey went back home, it told his mother, it says, "How, Mom? Wow, we had such a nice time going into Jerusalem. I mean, women were putting their cloths on the floor for me to walk on, and they were cheering me, and I had such a great time." And the donkey's mother said, "But who's going to cheer you, this ugly ass, going into Jerusalem?" And the donkey said, "Mom, it's true. If you like, come with me. I'm going to walk back into Jerusalem and you see how they're going to receive me." And so the mom went with the donkey and stood at a distance. And while the donkey was walking towards the gates of Jerusalem, people said, "What's this ugly donkey doing here?" And they began to throw stones at the donkey and drive it away. "Come on, get out of the way." And so the donkey went back to the mother, very crestfallen and very sad. And the mom said, "You know the mistake? Those cheers were not for you. They were for the person sitting on your back." And so all glory goes to the Almighty and not to us. We are the donkey. Glory goes to the Lord, our God. Thank you very much. God richly bless you.